I'd just like to take another moment to complain about past Kyle's comic making thoughts of like, this is before I learned the lesson to not make different drawings for every panel if I can all help it with this particular comic.
Hang on. What's this? Reuse art per panel? What?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Okay. I don't understand the question.
It's one thing if I was doing like a graphic novel, right? But this is a gag comic.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
So the gag about this is very much the joke. So normally what I would suggest doing is 2 panels of the same and then 1 to do the punchline. Maybe like move the characters closer or something to show a little bit of movement. But what I did is like I have them going in for a hug. And I don't think I should have done this second drawing here. I think I should have kept the same praise the sun pose.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Closer. No, it is fine. But now that I have to redraw it, it's double the work.
No, shut up. Do it though. Do thing.
I am. I'm doing it. I'm just complaining. My goal here is not to like redraw in a like redesign sense. It is merely to redraw in a this resolution is shitty and I want to, you know, make the same comic again.
That's good though for the print of the thing. Make it good.
For example, look at how tiny this Kyle is if I were to print him at any.
He's so small. He's a little bitty Kyle. He's so small. He's so cute.
So he needs to get redrawn. Thankfully, the girl does not need to get redrawn, just touched up. So you can just see how fuzzy he gets when you bring him up to actual, like, size.
Pixelated. These things you learn. These things you learn when you draw enough, where it's like, hey, I want to do a second thing with this thing that I did. Shit.
Yup.
Shit. Because I mean, like, I've been backing down and cowarding out with one of my biggest rants, which is don't redo your old work.
Mm-hmm.
Because I get a little bit of background on this one. As a indie comic aficionado and collector and like hipster scarf mega fan, I love indie comics and I want more of them, especially when one of them that I get is good and I want that artist to make more of whatever thing they started. And I have a couple of really infamous cases of I love this so much, I want more of them, and the universe basically telling me, you will not get any more of this. In one case, the author fucking died.
Oof.
So that one's done forever. Another case, I got like 4 issues of this incredible comic. Read them, love them, put them away. Years go by, pull them back out, read them again, love them. Fuck, this is great. It's been years. How much more have they made? Like half a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. But the worst one that ever encountered was Platypus Rex. Platypus Rex is an indie comic about a monster hunting sort of, it predated Supernatural, but it was basically Supernatural. It's basically, yeah, there are people in the world that fight monsters, and they're just average schmoes that know there's monsters and put the time in to fight them, right? It really was, like, it was Supernatural. And so years go by, the entirety of Supernatural comes out, and I've still got this episode 1 of Platypus Rex, which is, it's a regular world where everyone's a human being and there's monsters, and this one dude is just inexplicably an anthropomorphic platypus.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really difficult sentence to say. Yeah, it was great. It's a really great story. Really great. So set up the world, set up the story, he fought a monster. He was really tough. He had to work really hard to do it, and he kind of pulled it off. It's really tough, and then he's like, I'm going to go do some more of this. Great. Cool. World building, character setup, great. Give me more. Years go by, nothing. He basically goes into my pile of shit that I'm never going to hear from again. And then I'm at a con, and lo and behold, I run into the guy that made it. Dude, I love Platypus Rex. That's one of my favorites of all time. It was super great. I love it. It's like, I I've raved about it. I've just one of the coolest things I've found in this like indie comic grabbing mania that I have in my blood, apparently. And he's like, "Oh, thank you very much." You know, all that blah blah chat that you do at a con or a Sally. It's like, "So are we ever gonna get a chapter 2?" It's like, "Well, I'm and we're talking. This is like 10 years after the first one was published." So,
Yeah.
Now I really wasn't happy with the first one, so I'm just redrawing it from scratch.
I understand your issue.
That first one looked amazing. It was great. There was nothing wrong with it. Not a single thing wrong with it. It was great. Give me more. So, that's my common rant. But a lot of my friends are going back and actually editing some old shit, and I'm shutting my fucking mouth because I think my friends have argued very well why. In Kyle's case, it's because you're printing a thing. You're printing it. Yeah. You were paid to print it with money. You have dollars now, and you're going to use those dollars to print it. And yeah, producing it low res for the internet and then realizing you need to print it is a fucking thing that fucking happens. This happens to everyone. So this is a real reason to go back and edit your fucking old shit.
So let me also say that, like, just because I am not heeding the advice of don't redraw your art, that rant is very important because that is a problem that can happen. I have very little trouble getting thing done. Mm-hmm. That is something that is a beast I have been able to conquer.
Nice.
A lot of creatives are not the same.
It's fucking hard.
And
we'll talk about that later.
And to that end, I'm also like very careful about when I redraw something. It is only ever in a situation like this where I'm printing a book. I always do touch-ups when I print a book. That is my thing. I will do touch-ups. And sometimes touch-ups are redrawing a page. I have done that before for OTL.
So have I. There's a few pages in the indies that I redrew because it's like, no, these don't make any sense because of where I took the story. I need to completely rewrite this, and it's fine. Still kept the first one though.
Yeah, it's just it's very like I am very careful with the equation of how I spend my time when I redraw, so that sort of thing does not happen to me.
I think like moving this back into a advice for others sort of thing. You can do this. You can go back and clean up old work. Have a reason and have an end point. Mm-hmm. Because this is a trap you can get stuck in. And I've seen people get stuck in it. I have faith, Kyle, that like you have like a you like I know what you're doing, and I know you've got parameters for it, and then Kimmy as well is touching up some old pages, and like I think like most of the folks in our inner circle know how to not fall into the fix everything, redraw it again from scratch trap.
I think part of the reason why we take it so seriously, though, like I think it's good that you do have this rant because it does remind us to take it seriously, and that is something that I want to stress about this is that when you do stuff like this, always assume, like, even if you don't think it'll be a big deal and don't think like, oh, it's not that big a deal, I'll just redraw the page. Always assume that stuff is going to have a heavier psychological toll than you expect or can even see.
Yeah.
Like, I am someone who's very aware of my spoon count, how much energy I have for things. And so I can see that, but I see it happen with other people too, is they, like, take a turn, bite off more than they can chew, think it's going to be a easy thing, and then suddenly the entire, essentially production cycle collapses. And so that's, like, it's something to take very seriously when you do it, and that's why, like, what you say is, like, make sure you have a reason, make sure you have an endpoint. Like, do what you're doing very carefully, because it is it's a dangerous psychological process to redraw pages. I think I even mentioned, like, one of my worst experiences in OTL was when a massive computer crash lost a whole page for me.
Boy.
And it was just one page. Like, it was just one page, but it was a page that was really difficult to draw, and I just finished it, and that just wrecked momentum. Because, like, I mean, quote, there was a point to it, but there wasn't a point to it.
Right.
Like, I needed to redraw the page because the page was gone. But the reason for not having that page was so fucking stupid, and I had to do the work twice, and it just... Oh, man. It was the worst. It was one of my unintentional, unplanned hiatuses, because it just...
Yeah, I remember that. I think I remember that.
Maybe.
Right.
But yeah, and see, that was even a case of like, it's not, oh, you should have saved your work more, you should have backed it. No, my fucking hard drive fried. I lost everything. It's just that was the only thing that wasn't like, it was brand new, so it wasn't a bajillionly backed up yet.
Yeah.
I lost 2 backups of it.
I hate going back to an old thing, and it's going back to an old thing and realizing it's flat.
Mm.
So you want to see a thing I want to redo, but I'm not going to redo because it fucking...
Yeah.
Just shut up. I'm gonna show off my my fan art really quick. That's Doig and Swift, really, the paper craft animation I did a while back. I did for the past couple of weeks. I would love to redo it so that it doesn't jump around so much, but it's fine. It looks fine. Everyone that sees it loves it. It's great.
Yeah, I think it adds some charm, frankly. But
I mean,
like,
it does really
issue, but...
it does really hammer in the fact that it's just like it's fucking like it's paper craft.
Yeah,
I haven't posted it on social media yet. I need to, and I want to like include like pictures of like all the paper that I made for it. This was a blast. This is a blast to make. I had so much fun, and it's like I don't know. I haven't animated for a long time, and to, like, to go like super nuts with it was great.
Yeah, I think that particular issue is like that adds to it. In fact,
yeah. I think so. It's like there's no question. Like when you look at this and you're like, wow, you made cut paper.
Yeah.
Like the work that I put into it is really clear, and I'm really proud of that. And it's like I know I can photograph it like just a little bit better. Yeah, there's some of the shaking I like. I think hang on, let me go back to it. Is that it's Doig's flame jumps around a lot. It's not really in a consistent place. And then when he shoots his laser, he jumps up like a bunch. Like I didn't put him in the same place. Oh, he kind of scoots up, but then he jumps back. And like one other thing that I wish I could fix is that like when Doig is charging his laser and you got this really subtle little like the flame is pulling these little like energy bits into it. Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted what I wish I could do. It's like I could add like if I could add like one more thing to it. I'd probably not because I don't have any fucking time. I don't have time to do it anymore. But like we got the flame right here, and what I want to do is just to kind of like direct your eye to it. Is I kind of want to do like this like a big like semicircle that kind of like comes inward like this. So just kind of like a thing that just pulls your eye in. So then you see, and it'd be 3 pieces of cut paper and 3 more frames, but it just this big thing coming in that like makes your eye go right to the flame doing its little subtle thing. It's like I don't need to. It's done. It's fine. It's totally fine. It looks super dope. I don't need to do any more to it. It looks great. But this is what it's like being an artist. It's just like I could make it just a little bit better. I could do it just a little bit better. I'm on my screen instead of split screen. Boop. There we are. But this is the thing that we're actually talking about. Let's pull it back to topic here. Is it's so easy to only see what's wrong with your piece. In art school, one of the things that they really stressed, we did a lot of like critique and review, and I feel like I learned a lot about how to give and receive critique. And so it's like, make sure your critique is useful. Like, if your critique is just saying I don't like it, it's useless. It is useless to the author. It delivers nothing. So you want to make sure that you're saying something. And like, my rule is basically like, in your critiquing, you want to say something that the person could realistically change about this piece, or something that they could take in on their next piece. And actually, on that, when Doig and Swift are reviewing like the animation submissions to their challenges, Swift in particular is always telling, she's not telling you what's wrong with it. She's not telling you like unreasonable critique. Her critique is all about, okay, next on your next piece, try this. And it's super useful and constructive. And it's never like, she's really good at not tearing down the piece, but like building up the next piece.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
On your next piece, try this approach is a lot of times my favorite critique.
No, it's great. It's really great. You were working on a project for me that we're gonna unveil pretty soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I think like you were just asking, hey, this I'm not sure how to do this. How do I do it? And you showed it to me. It's like, oh, you need this, and I told you a super specific thing.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Yes.
Yeah, and not just that, but it's like, I wanted it to be like, okay, I want this to be like, not redraw it all from scratch, a thing that's just like reuse this, change this, and it should all fall into place and like hopefully useful. Now that's on the giving and the receiving side of critique, but when you're presenting your thing to the world, a really important lesson that they taught me in art school is, and here I have broken it hard tonight. Don't point out everything wrong with it. Let people enjoy it. Let people like it. Let people respond to it. Let people critique it. Because there are things in your art that you see are wrong that no one else will ever see. And there are things that other people see that are invisible to you until other people point them out. And then you need to parse those and say, okay, this is important, this isn't important, et cetera, et cetera. But like, presenting the thing and then pointing out everything that's wrong with it is self-poison.
There was a joke with my art classes that once it gets to the critique phase, everything is on purpose.
Yes.
So there are no mistakes. It is merely a perhaps at best a creative decision you now regret.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
I have a couple of those in some of my work. Yeah. Some people know what they are.
Yeah, but when you get into things like a graphic novel, a long form artwork, or an animation project that was for fun that you don't have time to revisit, just let it be it.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be spot on perfect. You can just let it be the piece. Let it breathe. Let people enjoy it. And like on going back to the Doig Swift thing, like I broke some fucking rules on their fucking submission tools, which is that like it's only supposed to be, you're only supposed to work on it for 3 hours. I worked on it way more than 3 hours. Well, I'm not gonna do another one. So I basically like stockpiled maybe like 5 and put them all into one. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be backing down because I got shit to do right here. But yeah, like knocked it out of the park because I charged my laser for fucking like 2 weeks. You know, it's just like that's yeah, just you can let it be it. But there are the cases where you're prepping for print, you're polishing, you're doing post-production, you're redrawing what you didn't have at the resolution. You're allowed to do that. That's fine. I'm not gonna come to your house.
At least not for this particular reason. That
was a fun one. That's a like deep topic, honestly.
Yeah.
Like when to redraw, when to touch up. But yeah, no, it's a trap. It's very easy to get sucked in and then touch up and fix everything when you don't need to.
One conversation we had in Chicago quite a while ago was the idea of editing and revising in comics, and how once you've kind of got the ink on the page, revising doesn't become impossible, but it becomes a lot harder. And that's kind of why
it's more literal for me because I put ink on a page.
Oh yeah.
But no, I mean, carrying the metaphor forward, you finished the piece.
Yeah.
Love it. Don't touch it unless you need to. It's easy to overwork.
And that's why, like, I want to say, like, so the idea, and this is one I've seen a lot from many of our friends of, like, how should I do my script for my comic? And every time I've done OTL, I have done more of the script up front.
Yeah.
Chapter 1, it was as I drew the comic, I wrote the words that happened on it. I already had an outline because I've always known exactly what happens in OTL, pretty much. But I didn't have those words set in stone. Chapter 2, I had a much more concrete outline. I had summaries of each update.
Right.
3, I had the whole script written before I even put my pen to a paper.
Right.
I had some thumbnailing notes that I did do while I was doing the script, but that's different. And chapter 4, it's I'm going to be going even more detail with that, probably. I'm going to I'm probably going to have heavier thumbnail notes, actually, but I want the script fully written. I want visual cues outlined.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I want 4 set in stone before the drawing starts.
That's good.
Because I think that will make it the strongest piece. Now, I don't regret starting how I did, because at the point I was at, that was the only way I knew how to do it.
That's exactly how I was going to respond, in that, like, that's the difference between the indies and Wild Azaleas, is that the indies, like, I want to make a comic, I'm going to make a page a week, and dove in and kind of figured it out as I went. Now, with Wild Azaleas, I have the entire long form planned out, like chapter to chapter, 12 chapter fucking story with all the story beats and all the things I need to, like, I couldn't have done that before I did the indies and finished it and wrote an ending and like felt and internalized what an ending is like. And so like, having gone through that first one and now starting a second one, or well into it at this point, it's better for it because I've been through the entire process once before. So yes.
It very much, like in, I'm not sure if I had started with a script, with chapter 1, if I would have been able to keep the momentum up to finish chapter 1.
Also, good point.
But now that I've started, I am, and it's a phrase we repeat a lot. Done is better than perfect. That got chapter 1 done. And I don't regret how I started it. If you're having trouble getting started, just start making pages is sort of my. If you're not having trouble getting started and you know it can work, then do it. But it's one of those, again, like, be very mindful of your energy. It's like, is the project going to get done if you spend 2 months writing a script ahead of time?